With RLCS Worlds fast approaching, there are quite a lot of teams to get to know. 24 of the best in the world all fight to be crowned the greatest of this year. But it's hard to remember 72 players, plus the subs, plus the coaches, and then find out who you want to support. Luckily for all of you, Rocket League Esports is all I watch, and I have absolutely no life, and have committed 5 years knowing all about this esport. I'm going to be covering each region in depth before the event begins, so welcome to a breakdown of the wildcard teams from the best region in the world, EU. Let's start with a team that everyone who was watching the recent major completely forgot even had a chance, and it seems so did they, G1. After playing for fun with a new Spanish player and dying from Monaco Esports and actually winning the Rising Star Odyssey tournament, they were given the news that they have actually made the World Championship and will of course have to play with their original roster, who allegedly haven't put together in over a month. This team consisted of 2 Spaniards, Atomic and Dorito, joined by the Dutchman Ole. Atomic has had an esteemed history in the RLCS. During the open circuit era, rising to the top on the original Team Queso roster, he, alongside his old teammates, were really the first major victors from the open circuit format, as Queso were consistently able to challenge at the top of Europe. Alongside Atomic on the squad is his fellow Spaniard Dorito. Although no previous exceptional results to stand by, his time on G1 and formerly on Guild, he was able to put on a decent showcase and push himself to the top of Spanish Rocket League. Rounding out the roster is Dutchman Ole, previously on Oxygen Esports, able to get top 8 at the Fall Major and a regional win back in Fall. He is later replaced by, at the time, previous Moid player Rise, and was left inactive for the winter split. Finally finding his home in G1, he has been granted one last chance to prove himself. After narrowly scraping the World Championship spot, the team is the right to support for you if you want to support an EU underdog. Not much is expected from them coming into this event, so if you like an underdog story, this might be the team for you. Alongside that, Atomic and Dorito are 2 of the 3 Spaniards at the World Championship, so if you want to root for some Spanish players, this is the team to cheer for. The second of these 7 EU teams is none other than Oxygen Esports, the only other of these EU teams to have not made it to the spring major. Oxygen have become a consistent contender in EU for most of the season, and it is only in recent time that they haven't been contending at the very top. After a great fall split, even winning one of the regionals, and a pretty good winter split, having 3rd place finishes in every regional event, they were in a very secure position to make the World Championship. Although ending the season in disappointing fashion, they were still able to make it to Worlds thanks to what they had been able to do in previous splits. Oxygen have a different full team every split this season, consistently having both Archie and Jory as on the team. They were originally joined by Ole, Rise then came in for the winter split, and now in spring it is Ixo who has joined the squad. But who are these players? Archie, the wonder kid from England hailing all the way back to RLCSX, he was one of the best in Europe for quite some time, helping top blokes and later Semper find many regional wins. At only 18 years old, he has a great collection of results with a top 4 with the 2021 Fall Major and a few regional wins as well. Joining him on the team is arguably the best Dutch player currently, Jorius. Originally teaming with apparently Jack and Joyo. We'll talk more about that later. Jorius was eventually brought under the wing of 2-time world champion Violent Panda. Later, after Violent Panda left the roster, it was when the wins really started to be found for the Dutchman. Consistently at the upper echelon of Europe, he cemented himself as the best Dutch player, and one of the hardest names to say. Rounding out the roster is Ixo, the oldest player of the team at 21 years old. He has been competing around the competitive scene since 2018, although never having won a regional event. Ixo for many years was poised as one of the best Englishmen to touch the game of Rocket League, and with his wide range of results on many teams, he certainly has proven it. This team is the right one for you if you're a Dutch fan or an English fan. Having the best Dutch player and some of the best English players, this team might be right for you if you want to cheer your home country onto victory. The final of the 3 EU teams in wildcard is Moist Esports. Previously being one of the best of all time, getting 2nd place at the 2021 Winter Major, then winning the Spring 2021 Major, they were already cemented as one of the best. After a top 6 finish at the World Championship, the tier decided it was his time to leave. Although getting 2nd at the Fall Split Major in 2022, Rise also decided to leave, meaning that the only Joyo remained of the original 3-man roster. in the winter split, they made the risky pickup of unproven talent Juicy. He wasn't bad by any means, people were just very unsure of what to expect of him. After a disappointing winter where the team didn't even make the major, Astro was removed from the roster and Cash the Cannon was picked up to round out this team. Although with no exceptional results during the regular season, they were able to do enough to make it to the final major. At spring, the players looked great, especially Juicy, finally showing everyone just how good he was, and a top 6 finish was a good ending placement for this squad. Cash for a long time was on everyone's mind about making it to the top. He was always so close, but I felt like he never made it to the final step, always falling at the final hurdle. But it seemed like with Moist the curse has ended and he is finally showing the whole world that he is meant to be the top player, and he seems to just keep on getting better. If you're a fan of YouTubers Moist, Critikal and Ludwig, this is most definitely the team for you. And Moist Esports is owned and founded by Moist Critikal, with Ludwig joining as a partner. This team also has Joy with his famous wave, so if you like having someone wave at you with a stone cold face, I guess this is also the team for you.